Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein. The Martian Stranger. On a clear day in spring, Valentine Michael Smith set foot on American soil for the first time. He touched down in the heart of New York City, his presence immediately drawing curious stares from passers-by. Smith, a man of earthly birth but raised among the Martians, found himself amidst the bustling streets and towering skyscrapers, a stark contrast to the red landscapes of his upbringing. Among the onlookers was Jill Boardman, an experienced nurse known for her sharp observation skills and unwavering dedication to her patients. Her keen eye had noticed the unusual man earlier that day, and his mysterious aura piqued her professional curiosity. Little did she know that this encounter would mark the beginning of a journey that would forever alter her life. Smith, a product of Martian customs and culture, approached ownership and property differently from humans. To him, the true markers of possession were occupation and use, a concept foreign to Earth's legal system. His perception of time and space was equally unique, perceiving events in a non-linear fashion and adapting to Earth's compressed space with a sense of otherworldly calm. As Smith ventured into the city, his Martian heritage was an open secret, intriguing everyone he encountered. Unbeknownst to him, the government had a keen interest in his unique situation. They sought to understand his Martian upbringing and the knowledge he possessed, hoping to gain insights that could potentially offer them a strategic advantage. In the midst of this intrigue, Jill found herself face to face with Smith under unexpected circumstances. While tending to a patient in the hospital, she heard a man's voice emanating from the bedroom area. Upon investigating, she encountered Smith, his expression a mixture of confusion and curiosity. "Who's there?" Jill asked, her voice steady despite the surprise in her eyes. "It is I, Valentine Michael Smith," came the reply, his voice calm and carrying a hint of otherworldly tones. "I apologize if I startled you." Jill's protective instincts kicked in as she noticed Smith's bewilderment. "Are you all right, Mr. Smith? Can I assist you in any way?" Smith stepped into the light, his eyes reflecting the curiosity and uncertainty he felt. "I am trying to comprehend the customs of your world. Everything is so vastly different from what I know." Jill offered him a gentle smile, recognizing the lost look in his eyes. "It can be overwhelming, but I'm here to help. Let's start with something simple. Would you like me to show you around the hospital?" As Jill guided Smith through the corridors, they drew curious glances from staff and patients alike. Jill noticed the attention they attracted but remained focused on making Smith feel at ease. She was determined to help him navigate the complexities of Earth and its customs. However, their encounter had already set in motion a series of events that would change their lives forever. The government's interest in Smith intensified, and their true motives remained shrouded in secrecy. What secrets did they hope to uncover? And what role would Jill play in unraveling the mysteries of the man from Mars? Uncovering the truth. Uncovering the truth. Jill Boardman couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Valentine Michael Smith than met the eye. The mysterious man raised by Martians had sparked her curiosity from the moment they met. She found herself drawn to his unique perspective and childlike wonder, but also felt a sense of protectiveness towards him as he navigated the unfamiliar world of human customs. As a nurse, Jill had a natural instinct to care for others, and she felt a strong urge to shield Smith from the prying eyes and probing questions of those around him. Little did she know that her protective instincts would lead her down a path of intrigue and danger. One day, while Smith was undergoing yet another round of tests and interviews, Ben Caxton appeared in the crowd of reporters and government officials. Their eyes met for a brief moment, and Jill felt a rush of conflicting emotions. She trusted Ben, but she also knew that his involvement could bring even more attention to Smith's already high-profile case. As the day's proceedings drew to a close, Jill approached Ben cautiously. "Ben, I need your help," she said, her voice laced with urgency. "What's going on?" Ben asked, his curiosity piqued. Jill hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "You know how unique Smith is. His perspective on the world. It's unlike anything I've ever encountered." Ben nodded thoughtfully. "Yes, he's definitely one of a kind. But he's also incredibly naive," Jill continued. "He doesn't understand the concept of property or inheritance. He has control over valuable assets like Lunar Enterprises, a company involved in developing faster-than-light travel technology, and the Lyle Drive itself." Ben's eyes widened at the mention of the potential inheritance. "That's quite a story you've uncovered, Jill. I can see why you're concerned." "Exactly," Jill said, her frustration evident. "The authorities are treating him like a scientific specimen, studying his every move, but they don't seem to care about his well-being. I fear that someone might take advantage of his lack of understanding." Ben considered her words for a moment. "You're right, this could be a dangerous situation for Smith. And it's definitely a story worth pursuing. But we'll need to be careful. If we're not subtle, we could end up making things worse for him." "Oi!" Jill nodded, relief washing over her. "I knew I could count on you, Ben. We'll start by discreetly monitoring those who interact with Smith," Ben said decisively. "We need to identify anyone who might have ulterior motives." Jill agreed, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. "And I'll keep an eye on Smith's reactions. He might not understand our world fully, but he's perceptive in his own way." Together, they began to weave a protective web around Smith, determined to safeguard him from the hidden dangers of a world he was only beginning to understand. As they delved deeper into the complexities surrounding Smith's assets and the intentions of those circling him, they found themselves facing a labyrinth of moral and ethical dilemmas. But with each step they grew more resolute, knowing that the truth was worth every risk. The Protector emerges. The Protector emerges. Jubal Harshaw sat in his study, the walls lined with books that smelled of leather and wisdom. His eyes, sharp as ever, scanned the latest report from his private detectives. "Any word on Ben?" he asked without looking up. "Not yet," replied Jill, her voice tinged with worry. She fidgeted with the hem of her shirt, a habit she had when anxious. Jubal sighed, setting the papers down. "We'll find him, Jill. Ben's a smart cookie. He won't make it easy for whoever's got him." Jill nodded, though her face remained clouded with concern. She glanced over at Mike, who was quietly observing the exchange. Mike finally spoke, his voice calm and measured. "Jubal, what will happen when we find Ben?" "We'll bring him home," Jubal stated firmly. "And then we'll get to the bottom of this mess." The room fell silent, each lost in their thoughts until the silence was broken by the ringing of the phone. Jubal answered, his expression turning grave after a brief conversation. "It's about Berquist," he said after hanging up. "He's gone missing too." Jill gasped. "Do you think it's related to Ben's disappearance?" "It's more than likely," Jubal mused. "This is no coincidence. We're dealing with a conspiracy that's bigger than we thought." Mike stood up, his curiosity piqued. "What is a conspiracy?" Jubal chuckled despite the situation. "It's when a group of people secretly work together to do something unlawful or harmful." "Like what's happening to Ben and Berquist?" Mike asked. "Exactly," Jubal confirmed. "And we're going to uncover it for Ben's sake and for yours, Mike. You're not just the man from Mars. You're a person with rights, and I'll be damned if I let anyone trample on them." Jill smiled at Jubal's determination. "What's our next move?" "We wait for the detectives to report back. In the meantime, we keep Mike safe and out of sight. Whoever's behind this might come after him next." Dorcas, one of Jubal's secretaries, entered the room at his call. "Make sure all the security systems are active," he instructed her. "And Mike, Jubal continued, turning to the man from Mars. "You need to learn how to behave like those around you. We'll start with the basics and move on to more complex social interactions." Mike nodded, eager to begin his lessons in humanity. As they delved into the subtleties of human culture, Jubal couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in Mike's progress. In the quiet of the evening, with the security systems checked and the household alert, Jubal returned to his study. The phone call about Berquist had added urgency to their situation. He pondered the next steps, knowing that the conspiracy they were up against was more dangerous than they had anticipated. The report he held was a crucial lead, and as he read the details, his resolve hardened. "They found something," he murmured, a spark of hope in his voice. "It's time to bring everyone together." and Marion gather in the study. It's time to see if Mike can repeat the miracle he performed at the pool. This may be the key to finding Ben and Berquist. The chapter ended with a palpable tension as the characters braced for what was to come. A shift in perspective. Mike's journey towards self-realization continued as he delved deeper into human spirituality. One day, while sitting by the pool with Jill, Mike turned to her and asked, "Jill, I've been thinking about this concept of thou art God. It's not just a phrase, is it? It's a way of living, a way of seeing the world and treating others." Jill nodded, her eyes reflecting the moonlight. "Exactly, Mike. It's about recognizing the sacredness in all of us and the world around us. When we see the divine in everyone, we begin to treat them with kindness, compassion, and respect." Mike gazed at the stars above, a look of contemplation on his face. "I see. So it's not just about believing in a higher power, but about embodying that power in our daily lives." Jill smiled warmly. "That's right, Mike. And it's not just about how we treat others, but also how we treat ourselves. When we see the divine in ourselves, we begin to love and accept ourselves for who we are." As Mike continued to explore the concept of thou art God, he began to notice a shift within himself. He felt more compassionate, more empathetic, and more connected to the world around him. He started to see the divine in everyone he met, from Jubal to the strangers he encountered on the street. One day, Mike decided to put his newfound understanding into practice. He walked into a local soup kitchen where he saw people from all walks of life gathered together to share a meal. Without hesitation, Mike began to serve food, smiling and chatting with the people he met. As he worked, he felt a sense of unity and connection with the others, a sense of being part of something greater than himself. As the day drew to a close, Mike realized that he had found a new purpose in life. He wanted to spread love, kindness, and compassion wherever he went, to help others see the divine in themselves and in the world around them. And with that realization, Mike's journey towards self-realization took a profound leap forward. As Mike continued on his mission, he encountered various challenges and obstacles. He met people who were skeptical of his message, who saw him as an outsider trying to impose his Martian ways on human society. But Mike persevered, using his newfound understanding of thou art God to guide him. He began to organize community events, bringing people together to share meals, stories, and laughter. He worked with local leaders to develop programs that promoted unity and cooperation, rather than division and strife. And slowly, but surely, Mike's efforts began to bear fruit. People started to see the world in a different light, to recognize the divine in themselves and in others. They began to treat each other with kindness and respect, to work together towards common goal. And as they did, the world around them began to change. The air seemed cleaner, the skies brighter, the stars more vivid. The sense of connection and community that Mike had felt on Mars began to spread across the planet, touching hearts and minds in ways that no one could have imagined. And at the center of it all was Mike, the man from Mars who had brought a message of love and unity to a world that desperately needed it. His journey towards self-realization had become a journey towards global transformation, and nothing would ever be the same again. Navigating human motives. Mike and Jill, disguised in vibrant costumes, were trying to blend in at the carnival. Remember, Mike, we're just two carnies today, nothing more. Jill whispered, her voice barely audible over the din of the crowd. Mike nodded, fascinated by the children's play. It's fascinating, Jill. They're playing, not competing. There's no winner, no loser, just happiness. Jill smiled, watching the children. Yes, it's one of the nicer parts of being human, but we need to be careful. We can't let anyone know who you really are. As they walked past the game booths, the carnival's ringmaster called out to them. Hey, you two. Help me out here, will you? Jill and Mike approached cautiously. What do you need, boss? Jill asked. I need someone to man the dunk tank. Our guy didn't show. Think you can handle it, Mike? The ringmaster asked. Mike agreed, and soon he was laughing each time the cold water enveloped him, with the crowd cheering for the Martian who loved getting dunked. Later, as they counted the day's earnings, Jubal joined them. You two are quite the pair, he said. Mike, you're a natural at this. And Jill, I saw you handling that sheriff earlier. Quick thinking with that cover story. Jill shrugged. We have to stay one step ahead. It's not easy with Mike being who he is. Jubal's expression grew serious. You're learning, both of you. Navigating human motives isn't just about understanding others. It's about understanding yourselves. Mike, you're not just a Martian anymore. You're becoming part of this world. Mike pondered Jubal's words, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. One evening, while walking through a quiet neighborhood, they stumbled upon a group of teenagers vandalizing a parked car. Jill restrained Mike from intervening. Let's not get involved, Mike, she whispered. We can't risk drawing attention. Suddenly, one of the teenagers noticed them. What are you looking at, freaks? He taunted. Jill stepped forward. We're just passing by. No need for trouble. The teenager snorted. You think you're better than us? Mike's face darkened, but Jill quickly intervened. Hey, let's go, she said, pulling Mike away. Later that night, Mike turned to Jill. I don't understand why humans do things like that. Vandalize property, hurt each other. It doesn't make sense. Jill sighed. It's complicated, Mike. Humans are capable of both good and bad. Sometimes we act out of fear, anger, or ignorance, but we also have the capacity for love, kindness, and compassion. Mike nodded slowly. I want to understand humans better, Jill. I want to be part. Controversy and challenge. Controversy and challenge. Mike's unconventional teachings about the divine nature of all living creatures stirred up debates wherever he went. Jill, why are people so upset? Mike asked with a hint of confusion. I'm just trying to help them see we're all part of something greater. Jill responded with understanding. It's because your ideas challenge their norms, Mike. Their influence grew, and they were invited to a large city event. Despite Jill's concerns about potential conflict, Mike was resolute in his decision to attend. At the event, as Mike shared his views, a group of protesters disrupted the proceedings. Without engaging in a confrontation, Mike chose to leave the stage, signaling Jill to follow. Away from the chaos, Jill checked on Mike, who assured her he was fine. In their attempt to live inconspicuously, Mike and Jill took on jobs at Hank's Grill under assumed names. Mike's inclination to aid others often risked their cover. After an incident led to a court appearance, they faced an uproar but managed to leave without further incident. Mike's commitment to his community remained strong despite opposition from various traditional entities. At a rally, a preacher accused him of blasphemy, but Mike maintained his composure, promoting unity. The destruction of their temple wasn't affected by external challenges. It's just a building, Jill, he reassured her. What matters is the bond we share and the love we spread. Jill's heart swelled with admiration for Mike's unwavering determination. Despite their efforts to keep a low profile, Mike and Jill's impact continued to grow. They inspired a community that embraced unconventional beliefs, fostering a sense of unity and acceptance. However, their journey was not without internal struggles. Mike confided in Jill about his inner conflict, expressing his fear that he might have unintentionally misled people. I sometimes wonder if I've led people astray, Jill. What if I'm not who they think I am? Jill's eyes softened with empathy as she listened, offering words of comfort and reassurance. You're not a deceiver, Mike. You're a beacon of light, showing others a different path. Your sincerity shines through, and people are drawn to your message of love and brotherhood. Mike's doubts began to fade away as he felt a renewed sense of purpose. With Jill's unwavering support, Mike pressed on, determined to make a positive impact. Their journey was filled with challenges, but they remained steadfast in their beliefs, leaving a trail of enlightenment and controversy in their wake. Tragedy and legacy. As the sun's glow faded, the park was filled with a sense of anticipation. Mike, standing on the stage, shared his vision of unity, his words resonating with the gathered crowd. A challenging question arose from the audience, questioning the need for difference. Mike responded with poise, emphasizing the strength found in diversity. The event took an unexpected turn when discord arose. Mike, maintaining his composure, was briefly obscured from view. The crowd, initially startled, quickly rallied in support, forming a protective barrier. Amidst the confusion, a sudden silence fell. Jill, close by, was visibly shaken but composed herself to address the gathering. Mike's condition became a silent testament to his message, and in his final moments he imparted a reminder of their enduring connection. Jill, through her tears, affirmed her commitment to their shared ideals. The community, once divided, now stood together, reflecting on the profound impact of Mike's teachings. Jill, with newfound strength, called on them to live out the principles he championed. As night fell, the collective resolve was clear. Mike's vision would be their guiding light. In the wake of the day's events, Mike's legacy was not of tragedy but of hope. His closest companions, united by their shared experiences, pledged to carry on his legacy, vowing to embody the ideals and spirit he had instilled in them. They dispersed into the night, each carrying a spark of Mike's vision, ready to ignite change in their own unique ways. The park, once a scene of turmoil, became a place of quiet resolve, where the seeds of a new beginning were sown. Honoring the ideal. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the small, serene plot of land. It was a simple, unassuming piece of earth, yet it held the weight of profound memories and the promise of a future guided by the ideals of a man who had changed the world. Jubal stood there, his gaze lingering on the spot where Mike had last stood, his voice still echoing in Jubal's mind, spreading messages of love and understanding. Around him, the members of the group, Mike's water brothers, gathered in a loose circle, their faces solemn yet hopeful. "Why here, Jubal?" Jill's voice broke the silence, her tone carrying a mix of reverence and curiosity. Jubal's response was soft but firm. "This is where Mike's journey on Earth ended, and where ours begins. We honor him with action. This land will be a sanctuary for his teachings." Ben, who had been quietly observing, voiced his concern. "The world may not be ready to accept what Mike brought us." Jubal's smile was one of quiet confidence. Readiness comes with understanding, and understanding comes with time. Mike showed us that love and compassion can conquer fear. It's our task to keep his legacy alive. As the group nodded, a silent pact was formed among them. They knew the road ahead was daunting, but they were united by Mike's ideals. The group's silent resolve to continue Mike's legacy was a powerful and sufficient conclusion, one that would guide them as they embarked on their new journey together.